Hi, I'm Douglas Mason, President and CEO of Rainy Mountain Royalty Corp., RMO, on the TSX Venture Exchange. Rainy Mountain Royalty Corp. is a Canadian-based mineral exploration project generator. The company currently holds multiple property interests in Ontario with joint venture partners and is seeking further joint venture partners for other drill-ready properties in our portfolio. For more information, please visit our website at rmroyalty.com or call me at 604-922-2030.
You're listening to HowStreet.com radio, available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Welcome to HowStreet.com radio, the online source for market opinions. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest goes by the moniker Smoking Man. He's an outside-the-box thinking regular poster on Garth Turner's GreaterFool.ca blog. You can follow him on Twitter at Smoking Man. Smoking Man is speaking to us from California. Smokey, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Garth Turner posted on his blog about a teacher in Chilliwack, BC, who wants to teach a course to help students become financially literate. A fellow poster, Turner Nation, suggested Smoking Man would be a good guest speaker for that class. So, what would Smoking Man say if he was a guest speaker? Class is in session.
Well, I guess the first thing I'd do is get everybody a notebook computer or a computer and get them all set up on trading accounts and give them a little bit of instruction on how to buy and sell stocks or FX or futures or what have you. They won't know what they're doing at first, but, you know, it'll be just random throwing darts at a dartboard. They put on some bets, just with demo accounts, of course, and run that for a couple of weeks and then, you know, see who won, see who lost. But it introduces them to another form of revenue that their parents probably, you know, never were involved with themselves because, you know, they go out there, they punch a clock, they get a salary, you know, that's how they think money's made, but that's only how crumbs are made. Money is made by trading, you know, things, services, and things. That's what I would teach them at first.
How important is it for them to think outside the box?
It's very important, but it's sort of hard because, you know, the education system, you know, since the 60s, I guess, you know, it's been infiltrated with, you know, people of left-leaning nature, and with every subsequent generation of teachers, they've become more and more far left to now where you have, you know, I've got my cousin's kids just recently graduated and they're teachers, and they're your typical just radical lefties, and they're teaching kids right now. And not one of them has ever traded a thing, or the only form of revenue is, you know, get a government job and, you know, fleece the taxpayer. So they have no idea what they're doing.
What percentage of people, including students, can actually think for themselves?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what the stats are on that, but I imagine there's quite a few of them that do. But I'd say, I guess you only see the headlines, the crazy ones, but there's probably a lot of people out there who do think for themselves and do good. But, you know, it's all about, you make money by being an entrepreneur, by taking risks. You know, safety in a government job and that, you're not going to really make a lot of money. You'll have a great pension. You won't have to worry about things when you're older. But, I mean, there's no thrill to life living that way, as far as I'm concerned.
Does the system really discourage independent thought, creative thought?
Oh, it definitely does, especially today. You know, you look at the narratives that mainstream media pushes, and it's in perfect synchronicity. You know, like their headlines, their talking points are all the same. And even if you look at Justin Trudeau and you know, and his election campaign going forward, they're trying to tap into what's been drilled into these children's heads at school with climate change and all that other stuff, right? And so he's trying to capitalize on the newly brainwashed, but I don't think it's going to work. But we'll see what happens.
How important is education to success?
Well, there's a difference between education and schooling, okay? A lot of people don't make that distinction, but education is an ongoing, lifelong learning journey, and it doesn't end with school, that's for sure. I think being educated today is a bit of a disadvantage because you're like, what was it, that Pink Floyd song where all they're coming off the conveyor belt. That's how it is today. So I don't know. There's a difference between schooling and education. I don't think schooling is very good anymore.
Is there anything people can do to increase the success of education?
What do you mean?
Well, is there something we can do to the system to make it more effective in making kids think for themselves and not just learn by rote?
I think it's very difficult right now, in all honesty, because, you know, you've got the generation where everybody gets a trophy coming out right now, and it's inbred into the teachers. You've got generations of teachers that have, you know, drank the Jonestown Kool-Aid, and they just don't know any different. They're in a trance. You can't get them out of it. You'd have to shake up the whole system, man. You know, start from scratch.
What would be in the curriculum at Smoking Man University?
I guess the first thing would be to, one of my favorite topics that blows people away is you got to learn to become a good liar, you know, because most successful people in the world are fantastic liars. And it's a skill set that is discouraged, but it actually helps a lot of people. You know, I mean, just look at well, never mind. What's an election campaign? I'm not taking sides.
What sectors of the economy should students strive to work in?
Well, I would say right now it would be IT, tech, learn to code. There's the field is exploding. You know, like if you want to get a job and you want to make a above average living, I mean, some coders make just as much as doctors if you're in the right field and you know you've got the right skill set. But it's not for everybody. It's not easy. It's a long learning curve to it. Once you get it, then you know you just take off with it. But most people don't stick it out long enough to actually understand it.
Your thoughts on the government sector versus the private sector?
Well, you know, the government sector is a pretty safe bet. You know, you can make good money. You don't have to worry. Your responsibilities aren't that high. I don't know. I've never worked in the government, so I can't. I did a trade show one time that was run by the city hall, and I paid a lot of money, and all I got in was, you know, people looking for jobs, but I had zero clients. It was poorly managed. So if that's what it's like in governments, well, you know, there's no incentive to do good, you know. Private sector, you know, like I moved to California because there's a lot of opportunities out here. I do freelance coding work, and I also get involved with other businesses and stuff. So it's good opportunities out here. Even though it's like, you know, the communist capital of the United States, it still beats paying what you pay in Canada.
Should students focus on left versus right or right versus wrong?
I don't know. That's just like, I don't know, a distraction or whatever, you know? There's truth and there's lies, right? And you can't spot the lies unless you're a good liar.
We'll have more with Smoking Man right after this.
Avon Resources Limited is a gold exploration company with significant projects in British Columbia and the Yukon. Trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ABN, and the OTCQB, symbol ABNAF. Surrounded by world-class gold deposits and mines, Avon's 23,000 hectares Forest Kerr Gold Project is located in the heart of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. For more information, visit us at avonresources.com.
Grand Portage Resources' Herbert Gold Project in southeast Alaska highlights increased gold resource, indicated and inferred, of 860,000 ounces, in excess of 10 grams per ton gold. Expansion drilling is planned on the Herbert Gold property for the summer of 2019. Grand Portage Resources trading symbols are GPG on the TSX Venture, GPTRF on the OTCQB, and GPB on Frankfurt. For more information, please visit our website, grandportage.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Smoking Man. He's in California. What would you pick, globalism versus nationalism?
Well, of course, I'm an economic nationalist for sure. Like I do understand the mindset of the globalists. You know, you got a bunch of billionaires who are guilty about having all their money, and they get together every year at the World Economic Forum, and they want to make everything fair in the world, and they want to have free movement of people, free movement of capital, and it's a great idea. The only problem with it is, the way they typically want to do it, they want to disarm everybody, they want to integrate everybody together, and so once you have this sort of globalist, one world utopian government, I mean, you can have Jesus running it, and that'll be great, everybody will be good for a little while, but as anything else, there'll be some bastard who'll get control of the whole thing and make life miserable for everybody, so it's always good to have a counterbalance, like yin and yang, one force against the other force, because you got to keep things in balance, and anything that's, a one thing is never a good thing.
How can you tell the difference between propaganda and the truth?
Well, for me, it's very easy. I put on mainstream media, I see propaganda. I put on Fox, I see the news, or the truth, or as I see it. Do you not find it amazing how whenever they're pushing a narrative, especially against Trump, it's like the headlines or the main talking point across all platforms is exactly the same. It's like there's some little wizard in a room who sends out a text to everybody, and they all start using it simultaneously. It's actually hilarious. It just shows you how controlled it is.
Why do you see the world differently than most people?
I don't know. I've had a pretty interesting career. I started off bucking rivets in an airplane wing, owning my own business, knocking on doors, selling product. I've talked to thousands and thousands of people, so you get a really good feel about human nature. And sometimes I'll leave the brand on the blog as what do I call myself? Doctor of Herdnomics or something like that. And because it's understanding the herd, understanding what makes them move, right? Like even on the blog, I was calling Trump all the way from the second he got off the elevator. People thought I was nuts, but I seen it coming very clearly, vividly.
Is the world rigged with the political class versus the people?
The political class versus the people. Well, it depends how you define political class, right? If you're talking about, it's not rigged. It's just everybody, all the politicians are following a system, or, except for Trump, of course. He sort of changed things around. But, everybody else sort of follows the same script that's probably put together at Davos or the World Economic Forum. They have their annual meeting, and so it sets the agenda for the year.
Who runs the world, and is President Trump likely to put an end to it?
I don't think he can, actually, to tell you the truth. He's just going to be able to take care of his own country, but he has triggered. I mean, like he's exposing the far left for what they are, crazy. And so he's done a good job, just triggering them and getting them to come out from under the covers.
What are your thoughts on President Trump versus the deep state?
He's got a big job on his hands, man. That deep state is big. He's got all those spy agencies and that, and it's presidents typically are not really supposed to call the shots. They're supposed to just sort of be, the spokesman for the deep state, with a nice smile and stuff like that. But I guess he's going against them hard, and it's very risky for him to do that.
Would you say President Trump was smart to have his own bodyguards instead of relying on the Secret Service?
I didn't know he has that, but yeah, I would say that's very smart.
We'll have more with Smoking Man right after this.
Hi, I'm Douglas Mason, President and CEO of Magnum Gold Corp, MGI and the TSX Venture Exchange. A 2015 drill program on the LH property intersected several high-grade gold intersections, including 11 meters of 20.66 grams per ton gold. Additional drill targets on the LH property have been identified by a 2018 drone airborne magnetic survey to further evaluate a pyrrhotite-enriched gold-bearing system. Please visit our website at magnumgoldcorp.com.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking to Smoking Man. Smokey, what would you say to anti-Trumpers who watch mainstream media?
I don't know. You know, what can you tell them? It's very difficult. It's like, if you study cults, it's almost like a cult. And, you know, they may have, 10 or 20 of their talking points or their virtues or whatever you want to call them. Now, if you will go against any one of those, it's like, they're like an all or nothing type of people. Every single, thing that they believe in, you cannot deviate on any of those points or they get rid of you. So it's hard to get through to them. It's very difficult. All those years of schooling with, generation after generation of far left teacher taking control of the kids. I mean, worried this next batch that comes out, murders their parents just for being old and having money.
Why did you move from Canada to California?
When Justin Trudeau, I'm self-employed, right? And, I've got a consulting company. I've got other sources of income, but when he took away that income splitting, that would just kill me, cause I'd be way up into the 54% tax bracket. And so I decided, well, it's time to get out of here. And I did go to a pretty expensive state tax-wise, but I mean, percentages way, way lower.
Is there hope for Canada?
I don't know. It's, Andrew Scheer is turning out to be sort of like a globalist light. He's into that Paris Accord, which is just total nonsense. And, the alternative is Mad Max, but I don't know about him either. Maybe he was just put in there by a guy like George Soros to try and split the liberal vote. Who knows? I don't know how the deep state works or whatever. But, problem is, not enough entrepreneurs. There's not enough risk takers. I mean, risk takers are punished in Canada, especially with this last government, Trudeau and Marneau. And risk takers are what are the fuel for the economy. The government's going to eventually run out of money. I know a lot of people that have moved their little businesses and factories to the States because of that. And I'm sure it's not over.
Is it things like the carbon tax driving them out of Canada?
Well, I think that's fairly a new thing, but it's just the attitude of the government. Like when Trudeau and Morneau were out selling that budget where, they brought in that doctor tax and you can't income split and all. It just you just know that these guys are going to come for every cent that they think they can get away with without anything. They just want your money. They want it all. And so people who take risks, who are in business, they will see through that and they'll just make whatever things they have to make to avoid that.
Do you think people are finally rising up against government corruption?
Well, yes and no. Like, for example, when Trump got elected, the polls had him losing badly to Hillary, okay? And so I remember I had a gig in the States at the time, and nobody would be talking politics around the water cooler, or if they were being politically correct and going with, I'm probably going to vote for Hillary. But when the curtains closed, they voted for Trump. And that's exactly what happened in the States. Because there was a stigma. The mainstream media painted a stigma of a bigot or a racist if you voted for Trump. And so, then people just shut up, and then they do the damage in the ballot box, behind the curtain.
Do you have any closing words of wisdom for our students?
You know what? Learn to trade things, okay? You trade your time for wages, you're not going to get very far in life. But when you start trading things for money, your upside is limitless, It really is limitless, but you have to get into that mindset. And I don't think any of the students out there really have that entrepreneurial mindset, because it's sort of, especially in Canada, it's just not taught. And it's not taught because the teachers don't even consider it.
Where can people follow you on Twitter?
Well, I'm shadow banned on Twitter. So only my followers get to see what I post. Unfortunately, anything I post there nobody sees, but it's at Smoking Man. Or you can get me through my, my blog, Dyslexic Smoking Man at blogspot.com. I never really post much there anyway, but if they want to get a hold of me.
Thanks a lot for chatting with us.
It's been my pleasure.
Class dismissed. I'm Jim Goddard.
Comments made on HowStreet.com radio are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any matter whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. HowStreet.com radio is a production of HowStreet Media Incorporated.